Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode in the year of the SKS. So, if you guys remember last time, I showed you a 1951 Russia Tula arsenal refurbished. Now today, I have another 1951 from the Tula arsenal, and this one is also a refurbished model. Now this has a couple things that are a little bit different than the last one I showed you. First of all, a lot of the parts on this gun match. We can see the receiver serial number here. Magazine are matching serial numbers. But when it comes to the bolt carrier, this has an electro-penciled serial number. So what this means typically is during the refurbishment process, there was something going on with the carrier on the gun and it needed a replacement, right? So what was quite common practice, you'll see on some of the refurbs, is an electro-penciled serial number. Does this take away from the collectability a little bit? Sure, it's definitely not a parts matching gun. But this isn't out of the realm of being ordinary for, just a regular old refurbished SKS. Now, the main thing I'm going to show you today that makes this different from a lot of them you see is instead of the normal hardwood stock, that's made from the Arctic birch, like I've showed you in past episodes, this has a laminate wood stock. Now, the laminate stock, for the most part, was not put on any of the new Russian SKSs when they were built. Now, with small exception, at the very end of production, a very small percentage were made from the ground up, brand new, with laminate stocks, but that probably accounts for less than 2%. So, yeah, those are out there, but they're an anomaly. For the most part, whenever you see a laminated wood stock on an SKS, this is going to be one that was added during the refurbishment process. You may see them with either no serial number on the stock at all, or you may see them with an old serial number that has X's through it with a new number, or in this case, we can just simply see the serial number of the gun stamped into the stock. And there's many things that tell me this is a refurbished stock, obviously. First of all, the gun was made in 1951. And second of all, we just see the serial number on the stock. If this would have been an original stock, it would have also had the arsenal mark on there and many other proof marks. So this for sure is something that was put on during the refurbishment or re-arsenaling process. I would note that the stock itself is laminate on this one, but it still retains, maybe it's original, maybe this was a replacement, but either way, it still retains a hardwood upper hand guard here, gas tube guard, right? So, kind of interesting. The laminate stocks is, basically, there's a couple things with these. First of all, they were a little bit cheaper to produce from what I understand, being made out of laminate wood. So we're talking basically kind of sort of like a plywood compared to just a solid slab of wood, right? So you can get wood from different sections of the tree and use smaller pieces of wood to put them together to make one piece. That's one advantage. But the most important part is these laminate stocks are actually much stronger than a solid piece of hardwood and more resistant to weather. So when I turn it on its side here, you can see there's a bunch of different pieces of wood that are essentially laminated together, pressed and formed with an adhesive. So you can see each line represents another ply of wood. Not a whole lot different than plywood, to be quite honest. This results in a much stronger stock. It's going to be more crack resistant, less prone to swelling and things like that if it's in a high moisture environment. I would also note too that the older original SKS stocks that are of the hardwood usually have a reinforcement bolt or lug through the front here. This is to reinforce the area where the receiver is sitting in the receiver. On most of the laminate stocks, they also put a rearward lug here, or bolt, whatever you want to call it, to help reinforce this part of the stock. Because as many of you know, this is a common place that rifle stocks in general can crack. The wood's a little bit thin here. There's a decent amount of recoil from the action. So at this point, they've upgraded to 2 reinforcing bolts and gone to the laminated stock. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you guys a couple other Russian guns right now that also use the laminate stock. Because you'll find with the Soviet Union and many of the USSR countries, basically, there was always carryovers, right? The model that was the predecessor and the model that would then follow are going to share some same characteristics as the other model. So I have a couple other guns to show you here with laminated stocks. Here I have a Mosin M91 Same thing here, really. They started off in the Mosin production with hardwood stocks. You're going to find the vast majority of them are still in hardwood stocks. Well, some of the very late models of the Mosin, and especially during the refurbishment process, were put into these laminate stocks. So this is a nice example of one here. I have yet to take this gun out of the Cosmoline, as you can see. And let's look at the end here. Same thing. You can see all the individual laminate sections. And this was obviously, not to bore you, but basically the same reasons they put the SKS in the stocks, you know? More durable, more weather resistant, etc. And you'll also note too on this Mosin, very similar to the SKS, you have your forward lug here, reinforcement lug, and then near the rear there's an extra bolt through there for reinforcement. So same principle really. So here's a Mosin M91 laminate. Same thing with the Russian Mosin M44 carbine. Many of these would be in the hardwood. Also a lot of these, and you can see a little refurbishment mark there. That's always a sign of a refurb with Russians, the square with a little diagonal line. So this M44 is also sporting a laminate stock. This particular one's a 1944 Izhevsk. As I referenced earlier, I see the refurbishment mark. This is a light refurb. This one still retains its bluing. It doesn't have the barbecue paint on it, but no doubt it was at least refurbished and that the stock was replaced at the very least by that little refurbishment mark there. So yeah, we also have M44 Mosins and the M91 in the laminate wood. And then even after they were done making the SKSs, when Russia was moving into the AKs, a lot of times they had more of a hardwood stock, right, with the original AK47s. Well, as they went to the AKM, same thing. Notice the pattern here. Russia decided to go with the laminate once again. This is a 1973 Tula AKM, and it's sporting a full laminate stock. Laminate handguards, laminate butt stock. We'll look at the side here. You're going to notice a pattern here. It looks very similar to the Mosin and the SKS. So they basically use laminate stocks on a lot of their guns. I'm going to be doing another video on this exact gun soon, but this is a basically an all-matching Tula parts kit. Don't worry guys, that was just a flashlight that fell off the table. These guns get kind of long here, but yeah. So laminate stock SKS, laminate Mosins, and then eventually laminate AKMs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys like laminate or hardwood? I'm kind of 50-50, you know. I think the laminate's really cool. It has its own unique look, and I really like it. And it's no doubt stronger, but there's something about the hardwood that I like too. So it's kind of hard for me to decide in the end which one I like. I guess that's why when it's all said and done, I have both. But just thought I'd share with you an example of a stock change with the laminate stocks for the Russians. And next week, I'm going to show you guys another Russian that is going to start transitioning from Russia to another country that they helped get started. So there's a little teaser for you for next week. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, another SKS video coming out soon. Alright guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.